Your joint determination is that Parliament will have a clear, decisive vote on whatever terms Theresa May reveals to the country in due course. Yes,
and all options must be available to Parliament as well. And the real thing is this: if this government doesn't get this right, it will end up in a position whereby the majority of members of Parliament, putting their constituents first, will find themselves unable to vote for a withdrawal agreement, and then the government will find
it's out with no agreement. Then it really is the cliff edge.
No, there are options, and that's our point.
That's the point.
What are the options? Because people say to me again and again, if Parliament votes down whatever deal Theresa May gets, then that is leaving the EU. Because we triggered Article 50, we leave without a deal.
We secured a meaningful vote before Christmas. Dominic Grieve tabled the amendment. There was a majority in Parliament for it. And what it ensures is that Parliament doesn't just give the government a blank cheque, but we get to actually have a voice and influence all the different scenarios.
And when we went over to Europe, one of the big messages, and we saw lots and lots of disparate people, one of the big messages was that if we don't take a withdrawal agreement, there are other options. That's not just staying in the European Union, it's also the Norwegian model. And the big mistake that's being made is that the debate in Cabinet is between Canada and Canada plus, when it's obvious...
So Norway's gone?
Exactly, and that's a huge mistake, because from the European point of view, it's a choice between Norway and Canada, and we've made a mistake with these red lines.
There's a delusion that you can have your cake and eat it. You can't have your cake and eat it. It doesn't matter how many times you say you can have it, you can't.
Theresa May's made it clear that she's going to come out with her clear preferred option for how we leave the EU later this month. We're going to see it. What could she say that would calm you both down?
Oh, from my point of view, I want to see EFTA. That is what I want to see. Absolutely.
So we are still inside a free trade area?
Yes. So it's the European Free Trade Area. That makes us members of the EEA. In the Norwegian model, the Norwegians have control over their fisheries policy, their agricultural policy. I also want us to stay in I'm not messing about with words, the customs union for exactly the reasons...
So that's not going to happen, is it? The Cabinet are never going to agree that, are they?
Well, if they don't, as Chuka says, not only is it bad for our economy, but it also fundamentally undermines the peace process.
We're running out of time. One really important last question to both of you. Is it conceivable that you can get a majority? Do you really believe you have a majority in the House of Commons on the Tory side and the Labour side coming together to defeat the kind of Brexit the Prime Minister wants?
If she's not careful, yes. But there's already a big shift.
That smashes the party system.
Well, it may well do. But there is a real shift amongst what I call leave-a-lights, reluctant Remainers, who are seeing the attraction of EFTA on the backbenches. And finally, can I just say this? It's really important. I wish Chuka would come into the lobby with me, but he doesn't. There was a very good police settlement last week, which you went and voted against, Chuka.
But you
and Anna doesn't vote with me on the NHS.
Exactly.
But this is bigger. This is bigger.
This is bigger than anything.
You are closer to each other, not just physically now, but you are closer to each other politically.
What are you saying?
You are closer to each other politically than you are to people. You are closer to him than you are to Jacob Rees-Mogg. You are closer to her than you are to John McDonnell. Sure.
I just don't see it like you're making this about individuals and parties, and the point about this...
Don't be ungallant, Chuka Umunna.
This is bigger. It's bigger than party. We won't be forgiven by future generations if we play party politics.
Is this the beginning of a new alliance?
No, I mean, look, this is, as Chuka says, this is the issue upon which we are absolutely united, and that's the most important thing, because we're putting our country and our constituents first. And that's what everybody else has got to do, not just MPs, but also British business has got to speak up for the economic Brexit that everybody's crying out for.